I could sit up here all day and blame this, blame that, but at the end of the day, the very end of the day on the grand scheme of things, the NFL has a problem. And I want you to take this into consideration. It has nothing to do with this game alone. It's more than that. Here we go. Conspiracy theory, Matt in the building. No, I'm just playing. But on a serious note, we got an interesting situation to talk about. As most of you know, we're mainly a college football channel. We'll sprinkle in some basketball, some NFL here and there, but for the most part, college football. But I'm starting to think we might need to talk about the NFL just a tad bit more because the past couple of years is beginning really fascinating. And yesterday was a great and prime example of that. I don't care if you just like college football and you despise the NFL. If you did not see that Bengals and Chiefs game, you missed a good one. In today's video, we're going to talk all about that game, but we're also going to talk about some other stuff involving the NFL and also what happened after the game. Here's what we're going to touch on, and this is what mainly got me to make this video. At the college football level, if there's a close game, for example, Alabama and Tennessee this year, or what's another one, Georgia and Ohio State, yeah, it's a close game, battle to the end, but when it's over, nobody ever says, and it's never trending and it's never brought up as much as it is with the NFL, that the game's rigged. At the college football level, you will rarely hear people have a conversation about the game being rigged. Yes, of course, you're going to have a couple fans from the losing team saying, man, the refs rigged this game, but for the most part, there's not even an argument. But, and I have a big but, on the flip side for the NFL, totally different story. I feel like, you know what? No. Scratch that. I believe every single year more and more fans are starting to believe the NFL is rigged. And also, I think more fans are starting to believe the NBA is rigged as well, but we're not going to talk about the NBA. We're talking about the NFL. I think a lot of you watching this, you're more than likely in the same boat as me. Growing up in middle school and high school, we'd always joke around and say, man, the NBA, NFL is rigged, but we never actually believed it. We just said it. And even me myself, 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say, oh yeah, the NFL is rigged, but I still didn't mean it, or I still didn't believe it for a second. But now, the past 4 or 5 years, every single year, I'm starting to believe it a tad bit more. If you watch my conspiracy theory video about Damar Hamlin, it's the same situation. Me, myself, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I wouldn't even hear out a conspiracy theory. Someone brought up UFOs, aliens, anything like that. No, I can't even have a conversation with you. But now, fast forward in time, the older I get, the more I start to mature, I'll hear those people out. I can have the conversations. I'm not saying I believe in conspiracy theories 100%. I'm not saying I believe the NFL is rigged 100%, but I will have the conversation because there is a conversation. There is a debate. I know exactly what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, what's the conversation? What's the debate? And well, that's what we're here to talk about. And I believe this with every ounce of my body. Is that a saying? I don't know. We're just going to roll with it. I believe this with every ounce of my body that the NFL has a problem. We're going to talk all about that in today's video. It is the one and only topic we're going to focus on. As always, if you're new to the channel or simply not subscribed, consider joining our community. We would love to have you here. To everyone that is a part of our community, thank you so much. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. That sounded so corny. Just let's get into it. That's better. 46.5K. Now I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, what does this number mean? And ladies and gentlemen, that number represents the amount of tweets with the hashtag NFL's rigged. I'm telling you, every single year, more and more people are starting to believe it. But here's the biggest question about all of this. Why do they think it's rigged? Do they even have a legit argument? That's what we're here to discuss. I could easily make an 8-10 minute video sitting up here and jibber jabbering and saying, oh man, the NFL's rigged, the NFL's rigged, this and that. I'm not going to do that. I actually want to get down to the nit and gritty. Oh yeah, before I go any farther, I need to address this. I've never said this in a video. I don't know why. I've just never brought it up, but people ask me this question all the time. Yo, Matt, who's your favorite NFL team? And weirdly enough, I don't have a favorite team. I've just never had a favorite team. Now, when teams are playing, yeah, I pick a team that I want to win. But more times than not, when I watch NFL games, I just want to see Alabama players do well. To give you an example, I like to see Jalen Hurts do well, Tua Tagovailoa do well, all the Alabama quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. So I don't have a team, and I wanted to bring that up so you understand this is as unbiased as it gets. I don't even have a horse in this race. Continuing along here, let me read you off this tweet. Number 1, that was not intentional grounding, referring to Joe Burrow throwing to the running back. Number 2, Burrow didn't get far worse roughing the passer calls. Number 3, must be nice to get 2 tries on a third down for no reason. And 3B, which is really 4, that wasn't PI on Apple to give them a first down. Most people out here are going to tweet out stuff like that. They're not just going to give you 1 or 2 reasons. They're going to give you 5 or 6 reasons. They're going to give you 5, 6, 7, 8 examples of the refs rigging the game so the Chiefs could win. And I think sometimes that's ludicrous because you could probably go back and watch the game and find 5, 6, 7, 8 plays where the Chiefs didn't get a call. I'm not going to go through the game and nitpick every single play, don't worry. I'm going to talk about the last couple of big ones. This is where, at least to me, the problem starts to occur. This got tweeted out. I genuinely despise the Bengals, but as a Steelers fan, my blood boils for them. No block in the back here, referring to the punt return. If you saw this game, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try to zoom it in for you here. Clearly missed block in the back. To say there is thousands, that might be an understatement. I think there's more so of hundreds of thousands of tweets like this. I also, as a Steelers fan, despise the Bengals, but you can't tell me that they legit did not win this game. Heaven forbid Mahomes lose a game. He's the next Brady at NFL Rigged. Here's my point in all of this. You don't see college football fans, which are just as passionate as NFL fans, if not more passionate, talking like this after games. I don't think it's jokes anymore. I think people actually believe the NFL is rigged. Continuing along here, let me show you this play. And when I saw it in live time, I thought this was as easy as a call as ever, and there was no flag, and I was like, maybe I'm tripping, but come to find out, other people thought the same thing as me. It was early in the fourth quarter, the Bengals were driving to tie it up, and the running back catches a swing pass out of the backfield, and I'm going to show it to you right here. You can clearly see the second defender comes in extremely late. He's already out of bounds and nails him, and there was no flag. If you gotta ask me, this was worse than the Patrick Mahomes one. I get it, Patrick Mahomes, he's a quarterback and whatnot, but you gotta call it both ways. And I'm not even gonna talk about this too much because it is what it is. As to how the Chiefs got another opportunity at converting a third down, they got 2 third downs. I have no idea whatsoever. That pissed me off. I'm not even going to get into all of that. It is what it is. I'm sure you saw what happened. But here's the last part I want to address. The final play of the game before the kick. Patrick Mahomes is scrambling. He gets hit late out of bounds. You saw that part. But the part that I saw, yet again live, and I was like, where's the flag? Is it's clear as day. I'm going to show you the picture of it. Clear as day. He's holding this guy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I believe the Kansas City Chiefs player holding him, that's Orlando Brown, right? I don't know who the Cincinnati player is. I already forgot. But that is oh my gosh, that is the easiest hold call you're ever going to get. You probably noticed something, or maybe you haven't noticed this, but I'm about to enlighten you. I've already talked about the big and major plays in the fourth quarter. I'll even play devil's advocate here. Being an NFL referee or NBA referee, it's not as easy as you think. There's a lot of pressure. I think people sometimes forget being a referee, you're gonna miss calls here and there. You're human. So all throughout quarter number 1 to quarter number 3, they were missing a couple calls for the Bengals, a couple calls for the Chiefs. It happens. But the problem with all of this, and I think it's the main reason it's got everybody amped up, these referees, they gave the Chiefs every call in the fourth quarter. The Bengals didn't get a single call in the fourth quarter. It was bad. It was bad, and that's all there is to it. And more times than not, when the refs give one team a controversial call, next time there's a controversial call, they'll give it to the other team. But that was not the case. Every single call went to the Chiefs. And once again, the part that pissed me off to the max, and I was like, yep, this is why people don't watch the NFL. This is why people think it's rigged, was when the Chiefs got another opportunity to convert that third down. That was the stupidest thing out of all of it. Of course, the missed holding call at the end of the game, yeah, that's big, and they just missed it. But the extra third down, that just pushed me to the limit. I could sit up here all day and blame this, blame that. But at the end of the day, the very end of the day, on the grand scheme of things, the NFL has a problem. And I want you to take this into consideration. It has nothing to do with this game alone. It's more than that. I mean, what about that game a couple of years ago when the Saints wide receiver got leveled by the Rams defensive back, and that wasn't a pass interference? I mean, what about that one? Till this day, that play gets to me. I don't know how that isn't called. Here's the last thing I'm going to say before I get too amped up, and we're going to have to end off this video, and I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. People are still going to tune into the games next year. The ratings, they're not going to drop or anything like that. But I think the NFL is losing a little bit of integrity. And y'all got to let me know in the comment section. I think a lot of people are starting to lose interest in the NFL because of that. When you have people questioning whether this thing is rigged, and it's not just a conspiracy theory, people are believing it at this point, it does affect it. As bad as the officiating was in college football in this most recent season, You never saw anything like this. You didn't see college football rigged trending all over the world. And the reason for that is because you couldn't rig college football if you wanted to. You could give these players a script, but they're still kids. They'd mess it up. The difference with the NFL is you don't just have a couple of head coaches and analysts and offensive coordinators. You got hundreds of employees working for a certain team. You got all these GMs and managers, and then these guys, they're pros. They're 30 years old. Yeah, they can follow a script. When people are starting to question the integrity of your game, it's not a good look. Let me know your thoughts down below, but